So welcome to Big Bear and my test railway, and as you can see on the track there we have what's known as a forcep. It's a train from the 1980s, and it's sat there nicely so that we can switch the lights on and off, and we can drive it off through the IoT hub and our the software that we've written. So let me just move down to the PC. No fancy screen grabbing today. We're just looking straight at the screen with the camera, and what you can see in front of you is the Big Bear model rail controller, and that's the layout of my track. And on the right hand side are the controls for the locomotives and trains. So you can see we've selected the forcep at the moment, the one that's that you saw a second ago. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to run up the test harness. So we've got the test harness here. So remember, the test harness is primarily there to communicate between the IoT hub. So it'll be receiving messages from the IoT hub and then forwarding those to the Big Bear rail controller, as if I were actually manually controlling it from the screen. The test harness also allows us to do some other little things, like we can actually initiate the messages to the IoT hub. Ultimately, they will of course come from the Alexa logic, but for the time being, thus far, we're going to be generating those messages ourselves and sending them up to the IoT hub from this test harness, where they'll be received, and then the IoT hub will then send those messages back down to here. They'll be picked up by the same software and then sent to the Big Bear controller, and we can hopefully see things happen. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to start off the polling service. So this is the part which actually listens for the messages from the hub and sends them to Big Bear. So I'm just going to start that, and you can see it says start polling on the log trace. Right, okay, so let's go back to the train. The train is sitting there at the moment. We're going to switch the lights on, so you can see there's no lights. It's a completely stationary dead train with nobody in it. And if I put the front of it, if I can get to the front, you'll see there's no lights on the front either. So now we're going to put some commands into here. Now these are the string commands that are recognised by the Big Bear, and I'm going to switch on the front lights. So I'm going to type in. I've only got one hand to do this, so it might wobble around a bit. So I'm going to type in 17113, which is actually the number of the locomotive within the DCC system I have. So that's like the local identifier for this locomotive. I'm going to type in 7113. I then type in ls, which is a code. No, not ls. I'm going to type in f, which is a function. Within the digital model rail world, you have function keys which can be assigned to all kind of different things. Switch lights on and off, sound the bells. You can even make them make sort of like realistic sounds and do all sorts of kind of wacky things. But I'm just going to be switching the lights on at this point. I'm going to select function 0 and then /y, which means we want to activate it. So that's the string that we're going to be sending up to the hub. You can see below that I've got a unique ID within my IoT hub framework. So that's the unique ID for this layout. And now we're going to press the button. So I'm going to get you have to trust me on this. I'm going to put the pointer over the button. I'm going to move and show you the front of the train. Again, I need to be a contortionist to do this. Let's send the message and see what happens. There we go. Hey, and you can see that the front lights have come on. Right, now, a little bit more interesting. If I can focus on the train, and I'm going to type in function 1 this time. This is the internal lights. So these will be the passenger lights, so they can see what they're doing. They're not sitting there in the dark spilling their beer. I'm just going to type in 7113 f1/y. I'm going to send to the hub. And there it is. So that's really quick. I mean, that was less than a second to send a message up to the IoT hub and then that message to come down again. And that IoT hub is located in probably the Netherlands. Right, so that's switching the lights on and off. Now for something a little bit more interesting. Let's come back down to the screen, see if I can get into focus. I'm now going to type in 7113 LS. So this is got the speed controller. I'm going to set it to speed 20, which is just a number. It doesn't actually represent any particular speed in sort of standard speed numbering, kilometers an hour or miles an hour, anything like that. And then I'm going to do /forward and /B, which I can't remember what that stands for. And we're going to press the IoT hub again. So this is going to send up to the hub. I'll get my pointer there. And I'm going to focus on the train. And all magic will happen when I press the button. So the message is going to go up to the hub. And the train's going to go on its way. And into the cupboard. So that's it, folks. That's the IoT hub controlling the model railway. So the next stage will be to then link the IoT hub up to the Alexa, to a skill, and then we can start doing some really interesting stuff. Thanks for watching.